When we go out to a shop and visit a customer, sometimes you'll see these $5,000, $10,000 in tools laying around in drawers, rattling around. That's something that needs to be protected. That's where these can help you properly protect your expensive tooling.
My name's Drew Nichols. I'm an employee at Area 409, and I'm in charge of the mail department. When we moved into the new shop, we had to rethink tool storage. We knew we had a bunch of metrology that we had to keep organized and easily accessible. Within the drawer in front of the grow for the Zero, we realized we had about $10,000 worth of METROLOGY product, calipers, mics, ID mics, ring gauges, before they were laid out in the drawers. Not the safest thing, not the most organized way of keeping things.
Hi, I'm Nick Kaiser from Kaiser Manufacturing. We're a small startup company working in tool organization, and we're from Carroll Stream, Illinois. We were surprised when we started looking into this venture that there weren't more companies that are already doing this. The technology exists to cut foam, that's not new. 3D scanning is not a new technology either, but to merge these two ideas together was something that we haven't seen anybody else do yet. And we just felt that this was a good way for our customers to have very customized layouts that they could have to meet all of their applications.
After going through to realize how we want this foam to be cut, do we want to do it by hand? Do we want it to be done in-house with our router or laser? But eventually we came to the realization that there's guys out there that can cut. We reached out to Kaiser and realized they were the right person for the job.
I've got a background in manufacturing. I used to work for Big Kaiser Precision Tooling. I was their web designer there, and while I was there I saw a lot of interesting things in the manufacturing world, a lot of tool organization, and in 2019 I got the idea to start using my background in woodworking and also in manufacturing to come up with some tool organization ideas using foam.
I'm Marcus Berciaga. I run the Lathe department here at Area 419. Kaiser foam, what it's helped us out doing is, as far as metrology, it's helped us store our tools better. We had an issue at the old shop where we would just throw stuff in a drawer and thread gauges or ring gauges or micrometers, whatever, they start getting dinged and knocked around. But once we got the bigger shop, we started adding more tools, started making more product.
When I started thinking about how to design and cut these foam inlays, there's a lot of people that are doing it by hand. And I wanted to do something that was a little bit cleaner and a little bit more professional looking and also protects high-end tooling. So we're finding that using 3D scanning for generating these layouts is giving our customers a lot more flexibility in how they lay out their tools. We don't just have to capture one layout. We can individually scan tools and then rearrange them in CAD later, or we can capture an entire layout at once that the customer just has to lay out and then scan, and we can generate the CAD files from there.
One of the most important areas was the Zero in front of the grow. I wanted to lay it out to be functional and look presentable as far as anyone that comes through and opens up that drawer and be able to identify each individual spot and what metrology's in there. Since that product's in full production, we wanted to have one piece of solid foam for the layout, knowing that the layout itself is not going to change. The tooling's not going to change because we're checking every aspect of it, and we've been doing it for a while now, and we know what tooling we need to inspect our parts.
For the lathe side, we needed something a little more modular. This modular system is going to allow us to continue to grow with the shop, so that way as we get more toolboxes or as we get more tooling, as we get more gauges, we can start dropping, plug and playing essentially with the foam. I want to be able to take a piece of foam out when we're not using it and store it in a QC lab and then drop another piece of foam in that we're using, so that way each toolbox is part specific for its correlated machine in front of it.
It's very useful for the operator to have access to all the instruments and know where everything's at, being they're laid out in the exact same way. So I'm really pleased with the way the product ended up. It was something that I never thought of us needing, but once we had it in hand and actually used it, it was a great product to have. Just with the organization and knowing that I can look in the drawer and see all my instruments in there, I can know that nothing's been banged up against one another. They are not sliding around in drawers. They are secured and not going to be damaged.
At the end of the day, I mean, it seems like a little bit of overkill. I mean, we could easily put it back in the original box it came in, but having good gauging, having good tooling is part of our job. We have to have good gauges, good tools to make good parts. If we're not making good parts, then nobody's happy. So having this setup is definitely going to help us in the long run with continuing to make good parts.